Nice.
What
Nice.
what service do you get, Rob? Who's delivering you the beverage today? Is your lovely wife doing that, or is your son?
It's Uber wife.
Is he on
my
a bike
Uber wife.
gathering? Like, how is this working?
Well, my lovely wife went out and picked up curbside groceries, and on the way home,
Starbucks.
stopped to get coffee. She's been home for about 12 minutes. And I hear her walking back and forth, and yet my coffee's not here. So really starting to question this.
Did she actually buy you coffee, or do you think she's brewing it herself, pouring it into?
No. She went and bought it. No. She went and bought a coffee, and yet it's not here. So there's obviously a disconnect in this marriage.
My wife also bought me coffee, which I finished already. So that's
you know what? I'm going to text my wife and say, "Woman,
coffee?
Where is my coffee?" I'm gonna do it like Samuel L. Jackson.
So guys, who can I stay with?
yeah. Who's got an extra room?
I would say John's house.
Best
I would say
couch you can sleep on. Order one of these.
John has a. If John lifts up, he has a sleeping bag on the floor, and where the kids play. Rob, you're welcome to it. So welcome everyone to the Heroes World Quarantine Podcast. I'm your host, Stupe. With me are the owners and proprietors of Heroes World, that be John and Andre. Please say hello.
Hello, folks.
And our resident prince of mischief, Rob. Dad, say hello.
Hey, everybody.
Soon to be divorced.
Yeah, I did it like Samuel L. Jackson. I just said, "Woman, where is my coffee?"
More separated first. Separated first. We'll see.
So I might not be part of this podcast for the next few minutes in case she pulls the plug and literally beats me to death. So
I don't blame her for that one. That's very reasonable. Not since the morning show have someone pivoted so much. So welcome as we discuss the latest What If episode. John, what's the What If episode called? What if?
I don't know. What is it called? What if Killmonger saved Iron Man?
Save Tony Stark.
Save Tony Stark. Oh yeah, I guess he's not Iron Man.
I laid it out for you and you missed. It's all right. Thanks, Rob, for the save. Got it. So we're going straight into spoilers because frankly, these what ifs, geez, they're all different. And frankly, if you're on the train, you're watching them, there's no need for recommendation. But John, full spoilers, full everything. What did you like? What did you dislike? Tell me what's going on.
So caveat, first things first, Killmonger is probably one of my most favorite characters in the MCU. Michael B. Jordan's portrayal of this character. Definitely, I want to say my favorite villain in the MCU, but I don't know. I'd have to go through the list of who else is possibly on this.
Wenwu did not dethrone him as your favorite character or villain.
No, I just really love his performance, and you'll when we talk about the episode, you know the comparisons of watching this episode and going back and rewatching your Black Panther and seeing what he does there is evident. So with that out of the way, I did want to see more of this character. So this what if is up my alley. However, I don't know if it's a time constraints or maybe the writing or whatever. It wasn't 100% what I wanted to see. I do like the idea that if Killmonger is on your team, a lot of the memes were rolling around Team Killmonger. If he's on your team, it looks like he's going to win. So he's going to do whatever he can to come out on top. So I really liked hearing Michael B. Jordan again. Again, the cast, they brought back everybody. I think looks like everybody's
except
back.
For Tony Stark, except for Robert.
Yeah. But they have a really good, Tony Stark imitator, or how Robert Downey. I want to say Howard Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. Imitator. But everyone else came back. We got another little taste of Chadwick Boseman. We got Angela Bassett in the mix, and then even I think. Was that the Shuri voice? Was that her, or was that somebody else?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't know. It might have been someone else, but maybe that's why they really young a fighter. But we got to see Killmonger in various different outfits. So he's still rocking the crazy the hair that I love. We got to see him in like a Guile like, or Top Gun like military dress, all white. It looked cool. It was very cool to see the character different outfits. It was very cool to see the Killmonger outfit back in action. I actually quite liked the blue vested outfit more than kind of when he switched over to the Black Panther outfit. I was actually hoping he was going to rock that towards the end of the movie. But then overall the episode, I don't know if it was super, I don't know. Maybe I wanted to see him become a good guy or something like that. Maybe I wanted to see that type of what if. But the scene that made it most worth it. So when we rate them later or whatever, the scene that's gonna carry the rating is when he's fighting side by side with the other Wakandans, taking out the robots. He's got the vibranium spear and all that kind of stuff, and Angela Bassett even gets to get into the mix. So that scene alone was worth it for me. It would have been nice to see something that I would really want to like. A lot of them I've rewatched. This guy's got his coffee. He's like all giddy. Like normally I would rewatch, like especially those first 2 episodes, which I think we're probably gonna do some comparisons and stuff. Like those first couple episodes, I rewatched a couple times, which was really cool. This one, I'll rewatch it because I do love Killmonger, but I didn't have the desire to go back right away. So maybe I gotta let it either sink in, or maybe I'll just watch that scene again. But I really did want to rewatch Black Panther and see a lot of those scenes, especially the scenes with him and Chadwick Boseman together. So it was kind of a shame that they brought back Chadwick Boseman only to have him killed off so quickly, where they could have got them kind of interacting a little more, because we know that probably Killmonger, at the time of this film, we probably knew that Killmonger wasn't going to come back. So they had an opportunity to kind of have those 2 guys mix it up a little more again. But, unfortunate circumstances afterwards, we know like nothing is going to come out again with those guys. So that's kind of a shame.
Well, we don't know. We don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah. You never know. Maybe I think Boseman is credited with the most episodes coming back for this. So
yeah,
we'll see if he pops up again. But yeah, some of the little things that Michael B. Jordan did during the movie, like when he first shows up to Wakanda and he's like, "Hi, Auntie," and stuff, and all these little things that he did during the movie weren't quite captured as well in this version. But overall, I did enjoy the episode.
Awesome. Andre, thoughts?
Yeah. I don't know. I was really excited about What If. The first 2 episodes I thought were fantastic. The third one deviated and the fourth one brought it back. So I'm like, oh, they're doing stuff that's really imaginative and stuff. And now I think this is episode 6, right?
Yep.
So now they're back down to, for me, 3 good episodes, 3 bad episodes. I thought this episode was a waste of time. Maybe not as much a waste of time as last episode with the zombies, but the premise, the change for this, they had the potential to do a big change, yet everything stayed the same, right? Right down to the fact that Killmonger has this really good plot to pit them against each other, and there's a point where he wins. He's got all the mech suits, and the Wakandans believe in him, and then he turns them on to destroy them. Why? Have him take over the world now. Have him say, I will not let the oppressors oppress anybody. I've got Wakanda in my hand, and I've got the best technology that the United States Army, they stand no chance. Have him win at that point, right? No, then they do the fight scene, which again was cool, but we've seen it before. We've seen the rhinos fight before. We've seen that fight scene in the MCU 4 times now with this cartoon, right? It didn't end again. Like the Marvel Zombies one. So I really have to question the ability of these guys to write something that is not only nuanced and original, but also can be encapsulated in the format that they're doing, right? If you can't end the What If in like the comic book style would be 22 pages, or in this style 30 minutes, then don't do it. I really feel that at this point now, these guys had a couple of good ideas, and then they're like, oh, but we got to fill 9 episodes. What else can we do? So it really feels like, like I said, 50-50 right now. 3 good episodes.
It's kind of a cheat not to have an ending too, kind of, right?
Yeah,
it's kind of like,
which one?
We don't have, it's kind of cheating not having an ending, right?
It's What Ifs have done it before.
Kind of.
What if?
Yeah, but at least the other ones ended the story, right? Captain Carter lands, she gets found, she defeats the monster that she was there to fight, and then she gets reawakened. But they don't have to do that. The Doctor Strange one, he ends up destroying his universe. It collapses. The Star-Lord or one, it didn't leave like on a, I don't want like a cliffhanger or whatever. Like, so I just really feel at this point now, you guys know, I was really excited at the beginning of this. I was going to say, oh my God, is Marvel back? Right? Are they proving they can do stuff creative? And right now to me, it's the exact same tired Marvel that the MCU has become and stuff. I just feel now maybe there's 3 more episodes left.
Yeah.
So maybe they can swing it. Maybe they can swing it back or whatever. But like this episode,
I have a retort, Andre, because
yes,
you talked about him, why did he have to fight them? But didn't the difference between, I guess, this and the movie where he could take over the world is that in the movie he was crowned king and no one could stop him. In this universe, there's still a king of Wakanda, so he couldn't basically say we got to fight everyone.
But like what I'm saying is, at that particular moment, he would have had enough clout, right? They would have crowned him Black Panther, and then maybe he could have either.
Why would you think they would crown? Why would you think they'd crown him Black Panther?
Because they did in this episode. Like he literally.
No, but he had to fight the robots to get.
Why? The robots were defeated. He proved when Shuri was saying to him, "Why are we trusting this guy? Why are we trusting this guy? Maybe we shouldn't open the shield." Then when the robots, went down, all of them looked at him and said, "Oh, okay, yeah, it is good."
I think
right. And then at that point, like I said, they didn't have to fight. The robots were turned off. He turned them back on only to destroy them. So he could have said, "Hey, why don't we reverse engineer these drones or whatever?" And stuff like that. Anyways, I'm just saying at that
let me just
point,
finish my point.
Okay.
To his point, he wants to be the warrior known as Black Panther. He has to prove that he's a warrior and prove their trust in terms of like fighting robots, where he knows theoretically we're not giving him enough credit in terms of his intelligence and his guile. And like, again, he's toppled nation. This is the part of the movie gains the trust of the people, because people are like, oh, he's the nephew, but now he's fought with the mother, the auntie in battle and gain trust. You gain real trust in a fight. You talk about, who your friends are in a battle or a fight. They've watched him, they know he can fight, and that expedites the fact that he's going to be Black Panther, because they have to choose a warrior. There might have been other warriors that could be, but that solidified his claim as Black Panther, because they've seen him now in the battlefield charge in, take out robots, which they don't know how dangerous, but he knows the exact capabilities of them to gain that next step of becoming Black Panther to get the powers. So I don't think we're giving him enough due and respect in terms of the amount of thought process that he has to do. It's not just I go there, throw a body, and I become Black Panther. I still have to gain these people's trust. So now everyone but Shuri believes in him, not only because he comes in and says the truth, but he backs up his words by fighting. In Wakanda, clearly that everything's battling and is trial by jury.
He should have fought the king. He should have fought the king then.
Well, but that's the thing. Like, remember in the Black Panther movie, when the king dies, that you put your warriors forward and you decide who's going to be king. But again, now he's established himself as a force and also someone to reckon, to fight with. So I think that's more to the line of that, and that's why when it left What If, it's with Shuri and Pepper going, he has the ear of all the Wakanda people because they know him as a warrior. They know him as a person who brought in Claw. He's done all these things. Like, he's now put himself at a point where everyone can trust him, just like how he did with Tony Stark. And then now here we go. What will happen next with Pepper and Shuri trying to dismantle the Black Panther / Wakanda versus the rest of the world?
Yeah, but again, that part's
that's why they cut it.
Shuri doesn't even need to go there. Shuri needs to just show that image to her mom. Her mom's the general. The Dorja Malal will take him out and kick his ass, right? So again, it doesn't.
What if
Wakanda doesn't need anybody else to solve Wakanda's problems. And nobody would question Shuri because she's royalty. Her mom's the general. Her father's the king. All that is one scene of, I guess, yeah, hey, if they were going to do a part 2 and Shuri goes and builds an Iron Man suit and whatever, and that's how you want to cross it over. But again, like, that part makes no sense within what we know of Wakanda that they have showed us.
Well, we don't
regardless
also know
of what part you ascribe to.
The building blocks,
right?
Also, Andre, is that we don't know at that point what happened to Wakanda, because she could have, like, again, there was no additional context of like who in Wakanda still alive, who's following who. Like, maybe she showed it to the people and those people are no longer alive. They didn't really go into context. They just left.
Yeah, but okay, but again, Stu, your assumption is an assumption that
you're having. So like, it's like we're both going on our own directions of logic. So like, I'm just willing to give it a pass. You're not. That's the nature of it. So I look at it half full, you look half empty. That's why the podcast is fun always, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing where, and it's vice versa. Sometimes you look at something positively, I look at something negatively too. I think you just leave it as is. It's an episode. They did what they wanted to do, and again, maybe it does combine later on, maybe it doesn't. So we'll see what happens. Rob, what are your thoughts?
First of all, just want to say thanks to my lovely wife, who, even though she sent me a text saying, "Do I have a death wish?" Because I guess she heard me. Still managed to drop off my coffee Although
spit in it, by the way.
Well, arsenic is something that you actually can't taste, and I'm starting to feel a little funny. So I don't know. I up until this moment, I'm still undecided about how I feel about this episode. I don't know if I can speak to the episode as a whole without just kind of going on a tangential, like random thought process thing. Andre, I agree with a lot with what Andre says. The writing aspect doesn't necessarily bother me as much as I think it bothers Andre. I think every good episode, like the leaving on a cliffhanger, doesn't really bother me, or having no ending, because what it should do is that the episode should be so strong that it leaves you wanting more. That is always the idea behind having these episodes. Black Mirror is a perfect example of a show where obviously there's no connection, there's no linear connection to any of them. They're an anthology series, and at the end of the episode you feel fulfilled, and yet you kind of want a little bit more, right? Like every episode of Black Mirror makes you like, oh my god, I want more of this episode. We got that, at least I got that with the end of episode 2 of What If, especially with that if you want to say cliffhanger or whatever, with Peter Quill working at the Dairy Queen and his dad, coming to pick him up. And even the last week, the zombie thing, you see, Thanos zombie guy, with the gauntlet, and you're like, oh, okay. Like the idea is to leave you wanting more. The problem I'm having though with this show, 6 episodes in, is aside from episode 2, I have a difficult time wanting more of these episodes. I also have a difficult time remembering what's happened in these episodes. I watch What If either Wednesday nights or Thursday morning sometimes, or whatever, right? I have a difficult time remembering the things that have happened because nothing kind of sticks in my head as being something that I'm like, oh, I'm so interested. Again, episode 2 aside, I have zero criticisms of episode 2, really, in its totality based on these other 5 episodes, right? I don't. The whole idea, what if Killmonger saves Tony Stark, and they did the beginning of Iron Man. Oh, yeah, that's kind of cool. It's neat, and you're gonna watch it, and because of all this happening, I thought the premise was interesting. All of this happening, Tony Stark doesn't become Iron Man, which then, if you really kind of start trickling down the rabbit hole, means, well, then the Avengers Initiative never really kind of commences. So there really is no Avengers.
Yep. There probably is an Avengers, but it doesn't have Tony Stark in it, because the dossier that
Fury
is making has a bunch of people on it. It's not just
right, sure, but there was
just
a
consultant, right? But
yeah, there was just nothing that kind of so like there was no other mention of any Avengers in this episode, even like offhanded. You didn't hear General Ross say, hey, get me Fury in the event, like nothing, right? So
they didn't need it. But to be fair, in that episode of the end when Loki took over, Fury got his 2 Captain Americas, or Captain, right? Captain America and Captain Marvel. So he has people up if he needs them, because at the end, it's like they went to Captain America the ice and they found Captain Marvel. So he has people. He always does. It's just a matter of he never had to coin the word Avengers and bring them on board.
So, the double, triple, quadruple twist of this episode of, is Killmonger good? Is he bad? Is he like, I was just like John, I was excited to see Michael B. Jordan reprise his role. It always irritates me when they have good villains in comic book movies and they kill them off. And you're like, what the hell, man? Like, can't you do something and have them, like, why put them in maximum prison, or have do something so that way we can revisit these characters again? It pisses me off to no end, right? When you have these characters, die and stuff like that. So I was excited to see what they're going to do with it. And admittedly, it just kind of fell on old tropes. And I was just like, and I'm sorry. I thought Michael B. Jordan's delivery was flat in a lot of these lines. Like I felt like he was literally just reading it off a piece of paper. I know voiceover work is difficult. It's tough. Like voiceover work is not an easy thing. I just felt there was a lack of inflection in his voice when he was doing things. I thought the juxtaposition though is Andy Serkis's Claw. Like I bought like his energy in his delivery of stuff. But we've seen now since episode 2, we've seen all these shows, these episodes, these 4 episodes have had pieces of Chadwick Boseman dialogue in it that he's recorded, and it kind of makes me wish that they had saved episode 2 for later, because they hyped up the last work of Chadwick Boseman, and now yet we keep getting these little bits and pieces throughout. And I'm just like, well, I don't know. So I know it doesn't make any. I know I'm all over the place. I visually, I'm always going to be a fan of the visual style of this stuff. I just found it to be unmemorable, unremarkable.
So, here's a hot take. I love Chadwick Boseman. I love Michael B. Jordan, but let's not confuse the two in terms of their acting range. Michael B. Jordan is a tremendous actor, but he basically does the same voice, the same cadence. He doesn't do like accents at all. I think pretty much every movie, it's just him doing the exact same thing, whether it's Creed, Fruitvale Station, The Wire, like even Black Panther. Like every movie he's done, he just speaks in his normal voice, and he's just Michael B. Jordan, even without remorse. I just at this point where I'm like, all right, you're just who you are. You don't encapsulate and become a new character, quote unquote, by voice acting. So I think it's just like, I don't know whether that's just Michael B. Jordan. I think we just have this level that we think he should be at, and we see someone like Chadwick Boseman, who does all the movies he's done. He does different accents. He's done different things back and forth. He is classically trained, and you can tell that, through whether it's Draft Day and he does an accent, or whether it's Wakanda and Black Panther, like everything, or Jackie Robinson or James Brown, like he can change his voice. And we watch Michael B. Jordan, and he's flat because it's just Michael B. Jordan's voice. He is what he is, right?
Do you know,
so
honestly,
I don't know if he.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Is.
The same can be said for Tom Cruise or whatever, right?
100%. Tom Cruise is the exact.
But you know what?
Don't you dare crap talk Tom Cruise.
No, I'm not.
No.
But it's the same voice. He doesn't change his his cadence,
his accent. Like he just the Tom Cruise voice.
Is Tom Cruise. The only, but I'm at a point where it's like I'm watching the show for this podcast that we do, right?
Yeah.
I'm still enjoying it, but I don't know if I'm enjoying it on a level in which I would be committing on a weekly basis to watch this. I don't know I think at the beginning of this series, I was like, oh, I wonder if they're all going to, you had mentioned earlier, Stu, they're all going to form and connect into something. We're going to get some like a Voltron. All these universes are coming together to battle something. But I'm almost like, okay, like maybe I'll just wait and finish off the series when it's done. I don't know. It's tough. I enjoy it, but then I don't really enjoy it. I enjoy it, but then I don't really remember a lot of it. It's there. I'm watching it because it's there, because I'm paying my $80-$90 going up to $130 in November for Disney Plus, but I'm not getting anything out of it.
Yeah.
Episode 2 aside, I'm not getting anything enjoyment out of it. And so that's kind of where I'm at 6 episodes in.
So I think I'm going to ask this question anyways. John, knowing that this is really a big space where in terms of there's no real resolution, do you want to see more of this? Andre's talked before about he wants more episodes of, like in episode 2, he would love to see more, maybe episode 1. Do you want any more of this storyline, or are you just done? You're like, I'm good. I never need to know. This is a universe that can just remain closed.
Again, my bias of seeing this particular character, because I don't think Michael B. Jordan is unfortunately going to come back and do it in live action. I would want to see more of him, but this particular storyline, I think Andre and Rob are kind of right. Like it just wasn't different enough. Like if he had become maybe flipped and turned into an actual good guy or something like that, then maybe I would be like, okay, yeah, I'm interested. But yeah, other than just saying I want to see more Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger, which doesn't really mean necessarily this universe, right?
Andre?
I would at least like them to end what they started. Like, again, this one ending on this cliffhanger, like I think it does. They could wrap it up in one more episode. But to John's point,
Shuri taking him down or something.
Yeah, like Killmonger's a cool character, and unfortunately, like, wow, whatever, the story dealt him that he died in the live action. But there's lots of potential to do this particular character in other animated stories and stuff, right? I just feel for this particular What If, like not enough was changed, and it wasn't really like, the initial premise was, oh, what if he saved Tony Stark? But that wasn't even like a big part of the story, really. Like
But if he didn't really save him at the end, so
yeah, so
Yeah,
so
this is like the fifth time Tony Stark dying, Andre. That you don't take some pleasure in that.
you know what? I wish he died. But like, to me, I don't think he died. It looked like the spear was in his shoulder. Like, I'm like, behead him,
And then he
or
gets shot in
something.
the
You know what I
face.
mean? Like,
it's a
shut up,
Disney show,
face.
Andre. They can't behead anyone.
wow. No, they did.
They wouldn't even show Darth
in the
Vader.
Marvel
Some dark
Zombies
stuff.
episode, and they cut
Zombies,
Cap in
yeah.
half.
Yeah,
right?
but it's a
So,
zombie. They wouldn't even show
yeah.
Darth Vader decapitating a Jedi, which I'm sure he would do in the books. You
Yeah.
know, Darth Vader would just be unscrupulously killing people left, right, and center. But they just make it more poetic. Like he's talking. Also, if he stabbed right in the heart, he probably can't have a conversation. So yeah.
But yeah, it was what it is. Like, I guess we keep saying that the Marvel Universe TV shows are experiments. Well, I'm not buying it. Television's been around for many years. You can't be like, oh, every show is an experiment. Oh, we're going to experiment with this format. We're going to experiment with this format. Like you're not doctors practicing medicine or lawyers practicing the law. This is television. You should know how to make it and make the story, finish the story, stick the landing, provide the opportunities to tell good stories and to shall we say, broaden the brand. But that's just, I guess, what I feel like. At this point, I'm sure people are just happy to keep getting more and more Marvel or superhero content. I'm fortunate enough to be a comic book lover, and I get new comic book format every week. I want good comic book format. I want good storytelling and stuff like that. I don't want them to have to start at the bottom and give excuses for why they're working their way up. And especially with all these great voice actors and stuff, because they're going halfway there.
I don't think. I think they are producing Big Macs and McDonald's fast food and Marvel, and people love it and they love fast food. You could probably make a better burger at home if you ground the meat and make that food yourself. And that's why you have comics and other stuff to do it. But people just want quick, easy access, which is basically I can watch it and I don't have to read. So this is just quick into the eye holes, and then they can just carry on their day. So I think that's the thing where people are accustomed. But like we said before, if this show, and we have no idea about the ratings, can open people's minds to watch cartoons, that is your and myself's dream all the time, going, hey, this show's awesome, but it's a cartoon and people are writing it off. But if this will change people's minds, then that's a good thing, because there's a lot of awesome animated shows out there that get no respect because it's animated. So it is probably still an uphill battle, whether it's Rebels or the original Batman TV series, Gravity Falls. There are a lot of good animated shows, but people are just
Archer.
Hit or miss. I think Archer from season to season is a plus and minus. But yeah, I think that's the thing. Rob, what are your thoughts? Do you want
it's
more?
interesting. It's interesting that you use the McDonald's analogy, because I've always often criticized McDonald's only has two burgers, right? They have a quarter pounder and they have the Big Mac, and then everything is derivative from those.
Yeah.
Oh, you can get a double quarter pounder. You can get a maple bacon quarter pounder. You can get a double Big Mac. You can get that's all they have. It's like, give me a new burger.
You have a chicken one. You have a McChicken.
It's all okay, fine. But I'm talking about
Filet?
hamburger. I'm talking
Okay,
about.
got
So
it.
it's all derivative of two things. So, your question is, do I want to see more of this world? No, I don't. You know what I would have liked to have seen? Black Panther, the movie, was so, and we talked about this, so polarized. It was so much fun. It was interesting. And John sums it up. He's like, I want to see more of Killmonger. Why couldn't we have gotten what if Killmonger defeated T'Challa again? And then the whole episode is Killmonger essentially now the king of Wakanda, and he's now taking out revenge against the US for his father and everything. That's what I wanted. I wanted to see more of Michael B. Jordan's portrayal and what would have happened if he beat Black Panther at the end of that movie, right? And now he's
and then the Avengers
rightful,
got to come and fight him or something,
right? And he's got all the tech of I want to see him fulfill, because he was just so drawn into his plight in that first movie. You want to almost see it win. Like, you want to root for the bad guy, quote unquote, right? That's what I think would have been a much better why do we need to involve the other Avengers? Why does it have to be what if he saved Tony Stark? Can't just be what if his mission succeeded? What if he defeated T'Challa? So That's what I would have liked to have seen. That's what I want more of. I don't really care for what we got in this episode. Like I'm out. Like, I'm going to continue watching these, but I don't need to see more of Michael B. Jordan's portrayal of the character in this universe. I wish we had a better episode.
Okay, I'm gonna ask the rating, and then I have one follow-up question. John, what do you give this out of 10?
I still like because of that. I really liked seeing the Wakandans fight the robots together. I thought that was really cool. So I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10 for that.
Andre,
3.
Rob,
5.
oh, seems about right. So far these what ifs and Killmonger's episode hasn't deviated at all. Is that it's weird because I think Andre would say this is lazy writing, but so far every time a bad guy's become a good guy, they're super weak, and every time a good guy's become a bad guy, they become overpowered. Is this now always the trend with these what ifs? Because every time a villain like Thanos switched over sides, he's no longer the same Mad Titan. Right. And when Ant-Man switches over, he becomes like meganiacal, like he becomes a real big supervillain. Same with Killmonger. Killmonger's a bad guy. He pretends to be a guy, but he's still awesome and does his bad guy stuff. Do you think that this show continues to that trend, or do you notice that as well? Or what are your thoughts on this? My weird idea.
Whom are you asking?
John.
Oh yeah, no, I got nothing. I don't know. I guess you got to depower it. Like if a villain's got to take on a whole team of like Avengers or whoever, then yeah, he's got to be powerful. And then when you flip him back to the good side, then he's got to become a team player or whatever you want to call it, right? So yeah, it seems to be just the nature of, I guess, the storytelling, unless you start putting together teams of villains and like that type of stuff.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Andre?
Yeah, it's definitely a pattern, right? And maybe it's what they want to show, right? Like if a good person goes bad, they become power hungry, and thus they become more powerful, or they are uninhibited by their conscious, so they can use their powers in different ways that they wouldn't have when they were good. So that shows that they've always had that kind of potential, and like that's what happened with the Ant-Man and I guess with the Doctor Strange. You could have always absorbed more power, but if you're good, you don't want all that power. But it's just a matter of how they go about showing it and how they go about using it as a storytelling tool, right? If they just continue to keep it on doing this, then it will get old and tired and stuff like that, right? So hopefully they can come up with a creative way to showcase these characters again, or when they change them, when they flip sides, maybe have it be I don't want to use the word worthwhile, but you guys show maybe why they don't use their powers in that way, a la Thanos or whatever. Like Thanos is still super powerful without the gems, right? But we don't get a sense of what he was capable of in that episode, other than he seemed like kind of a juggernaut, able to run through things and take a beating, right? And dish a beating. But
in episode 2, he reminded me of a Scooby-Doo character.
Yeah.
It's true. Because it was weird, because watching Thanos, you're like, oh, he got all the Black Order to follow him, and then this episode he's getting his face just pounded in. I was like, all right, cool. Good observation. Thanks, Andre. Rob?
I never actually so kudos to you, and maybe because I just didn't care enough about the series to be able to
it's in and out. Ross forgot it.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave that one for John. He missed out. It's like prom night. I never really cared enough. So good observation, Stu. Here's it. You know what? As soon as you say that, all I can think about is the Flash season 7, the mirror universe, and I just want to pull my hair out. If that's what they're doing, where you're making the good guys bad and the bad guys good. I just think that's. I don't know. I think it's, I don't know. Is it lazy? Is it purposeful? Is it like, oh, this will be fun? Is it geared towards kids? I don't know. I just, I like the idea of taking a pre-existing MCU moment and flipping the script a little bit, right? You flip a different switch and something else happens, and it plays out. That's kind of cool. But then what the ripple effects of those are, I think that was the one thing in episode 2 I never really bought, just because T'Challa becomes Star-Lord. I don't see how the throw line then becomes that Titan Thanos is all of a sudden, a good guy. It doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what the writers' room is thinking. I think that, there's an analogy with that, acronym KISS, keep it simple, stupid. If you just turn the point of view, shine the flashlight a little bit different, you can get a pretty solid episode without having to create this big giant world. So I don't know. I'm probably not answering your question. I've never noticed the pattern before, but I don't care.
It's fine. But it is what it is. I'm sure it'll continue on. I think Andre kind of summed it up very, very nicely.
Andre's, you can tell he's not happy. He had his arms crossed.
It wasn't a good episode.
No, I know.
It was just like, I was really wanting to love this series. I really want to get back on enjoying the Marvel stuff, and I haven't seen Shang-Chi, so I gotta go see that and
I
stuff.
think you should like Shang-Chi.
I just really think that for it being the largest movie franchise or whatever, and with so many stories to tell and so many creative people, that they have access to, whether it's writers or creators, actors, directors, like people who are producing, I just feel they're not, they just haven't been elevating what they're doing, and I think this goes back to what Denis Villeneuve just said. He's like, this is they're paint by numbers. Yep. And he's not blasting them. It's an accurate observation. It's like, you give a director, you say come in and do this thing, but then you give them parameters. Well, you're not allowing them to do what hopefully they can do best, and that's be able to be creative and
but we saw that already with Edgar Wright. He left Ant-Man because he wanted to do certain things, and Marvel.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
And Scott Derrickson for Doctor Strange. He wanted to make it more of a horror theme.
So we're seeing that Marvel, is, and of course they want to protect their brand. I'm not saying that you get somebody and they turn out something that's off brand, but again, you shouldn't be having to go and say, oh, like, every movie shouldn't be a cookie cutter version where you can say, okay, the hero's going to drop a one-liner in 3, 2, 1, yep, and then you can put all the movies up and see that, oh, like all the villains are the same, or all the effects are the same, or whatever. They're going to have a certain look, but they don't have to be the same all in tone, in character, in but
that's why it's McDonald's, right? Andre. That's why people love them. The Big Mac's a Big Mac. That's why
but it doesn't. What I'm saying is, it doesn't have to be.
Any country in the world that have a Big Mac, it's a Big Mac. That's what it is. Whether you're in China, whether you're in Nigeria, or whether you're in Alabama, the Big Mac's the Big Mac. That's it. That's what it is. So I totally understand you.
I get what Andre is saying. I think like if you want to keep doing with the food analogy, that you almost like Marvel's is giving you the most audience, what they can consume, like the widest. So you are the Kelseys of the family restaurant. Andre's probably looking for more of like the Keg, or more of like a more of a
well, I would say it's Markham Station, because they have breakfast 24/7. You can get a burger, you can get Greek food.
Right.
That's the premier diner. The diner has everything you want on a menu.
It's a greasy
everything,
spoon,
including milkshakes. And then this is like a high end. This
is Johnny's.
No. This is Andre's heart. This is the school fine dining. He wants a school fine dining.
The schoolhouse.
You know what? That would be a pipe dream. I don't even want that. I just would love to see, that breakout movie where they're like, oh yeah,
like some variety.
We're gonna make a movie that everybody talks about because it's
wasn't that Black
good.
Panther? That was Black Panther. That was it didn't follow every
okay,
Marvel
I guess you're
thing.
right. Fine. Out of 22 movies, they've made 3 good ones or 4 good ones or whatever.
Black Panther,
I guess you're right.
Winter
That's
Soldier.
it. But they could. But I guess
those are the 2. Yeah.
If that's the case, they could definitely have. They could bring more to the plate. is what I'm saying, or more the table. Plate, forget the food analogy, but you know, they have a potential.
hungry.
I'm getting hungry.
to do that, yeah.
All right, we're gonna jump.
No, Andre's right. They do these deviations in comics too, like Immortal Hulk and things like that.
Yeah.
So, but you know, those titles are few and far between, right, Andre?
But
So,
but that's
yeah,
that's
maybe you're right.
that's
Maybe
them.
the 3 out of 20 something films is
But we
is
talked
pretty
about
good
that.
for us. Yeah.
We talked about that, John. This comics is the minor leagues for them. They try all their stuff out there, and if it works, they put it in the movie. This is what comics are for Marvel. They're like, we're just gonna try things out, throw
it could
ideas.
just be the medium. The movie medium is the one where you have to serve like McDonald's, and the comic book medium is you can kind of
You can
expand
cancel
the
after, as you've seen, after 3 books. They're like, this sucks. We're out. So, but you can't do that
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the movie. It's too much
yeah,
money.
you have to invest so much money and people and
And even in TV show,
things
right?
into
Like
the movie. Yeah.
one
yeah, maybe that's
series
why.
TV
Maybe
show
that's
is
just why
$100
there's
million. And you didn't. It does not cost you $100 million to make 3 comics of Mr. Terrific for the new 300. Or the new, when they did it for DC and it didn't work out. They're like, all right, well, we'll end this book and carry on. So this is what happens. People, they try things out, and even though it's critically acclaimed in a comic book form, it doesn't always work out, and a book still gets
So
canceled.
the lesson is read comics, folks.
That's exactly the lesson.
Yeah, if you read comics, you can dictate what happens. And eventually, if it works out, like Echo is going to be in the show, that was a Daredevil character that moved over. So this is, what's going to happen. It's unfortunately, those things make money, and there are shareholders that Disney has to do it. Really, at the end of the day, if they were a privately owned company and they could do what they want, then that's great. But every time, they're going to produce a widget, and that widget needs to make X amount of money in order for shareholders to get back their money. So this is what it is. If we were investors in Disney, we'd be happy, Andre, because we're going to see a return on our investment. But that's what it's all is at this standpoint. John, do you have Black Panther / any book that you recommend at the standpoint, even though he wasn't really in it? But
not that we haven't recommended before. Like I did shout out the Tanashi Coates Black Panther, where he kind of goes to space, which was in reference to the episode 2. They did do a Killmonger mini series, so if you want to see more of that character, you can definitely pick that up. Didn't quite hit as hard as Michael B. Jordan's performance in Black Panther, but if you want to see more of that character, then yeah, definitely check that out.
Andre?
Yeah, I think what the nice thing about the What If series is doing, though, is it's putting a lot of different comic potential content on people's minds. So like John said, Black Panther is always a very good book to check out. I think if people want to kind of get a different side of Black Panther, though, they need to check out the new Avengers run, which was basically the Illuminati run. That was
a fun run. Yeah,
very, very good. It was like basically Professor X, Black Panther, Namor, and they're Tony Stark, and they're kind of doing things beneath what people know. So they get together and they kind of are tracking where the world is going. So again, not the same concept of this, but it does definitely deal with some of these other issues and stuff like that in world politics, like Namor and T'Challa butting heads and these guys. So it's you see the heroes in a different light, and I think that's what the What If show is trying to do. So there's several trade paperbacks available. It was a little bit older. It was Bendis, and who was the artist, John? Was it I want to say Epting, but I don't think that's right. But anyways, a Bendis New Avengers run, and yeah,
was it Finch?
No, I don't think it was Finch, but yeah, we can look into it and post up about it. Very good run.
Rob?
No, I you know what? I'm just gonna leave it to the 2 guys who are currently below me on my screen. They are the comic book experts and will be able to direct you. They've given 2 great recommendations, so I think you should follow them and don't listen to anything I damn well say.
Rob,
Except for Underwater Welder, you should read that.
AKA I got nothing. That's a very eloquent way of saying AKA I got nothing. Okay. John, Andre, where can we find you guys on the internets and in the desert of the real?
Yeah, Heroes World Online. You're going to find us on Facebook, Instagram, and our website. Our most active is the Facebook. So if you want to get at us, you can message us through any of those means. And then if you're listening to this on the audio, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your streaming or podcast services, you can find us there. Heroes World Podcast. Definitely, and everyone has been sharing, reposting, commenting. It's been really awesome. So thank you so much for doing that. But yeah, definitely recommend to your friends and whoever you think might be interested. And the audio is a nice format. I know you're probably watching this on YouTube, but if you want to listen to us on the go, just download it through Spotify. Is free. You don't have to pay for Spotify.
Nice.
Spotify, you can use the free version. Listen to music. It'll get mixed up. You won't be able to listen to exactly what you want. It'll show up in the playlist, but podcasts, you can listen to whatever you want on Spotify. So definitely check that out.
Yep,
Okay.
and the store is open 8601 Warden Avenue. That is just outside of the GTA, so just north of Steeles at the Highway 7 in Warden. We're open 5 days a week from Tuesday to Saturday. Always bringing in new stuff, always changing the store up. So if you came by the store last month, heck, even last week, there are changes aplenty, and we just love bringing in all the new stuff. John's been doing a great job bringing in tons of new action figures, from the He-Man line to a lot of the retro He-Man, Transformers, G.I. Joe. The McFarlane stuff is amazing. I know Rob's looking forward to his Snyder Cut Justice League figures. So we've got so much figures
Princess
there.
Bride.
We also are doing a great job with our new book distributor, getting lots of trade paperbacks.
I'm just bringing in
stock.
tons of trades to recommend to you.
And we doubled our kids section. So I know we probably don't have a lot of kids listening to this, but hey, if we've got some new parents or parents that have kids that are just starting to read, we've got a ever-growing kids section of books. So start them young with superheroes of all shapes and sizes and stuff like that. So you want to come by and check us out, or reach out to us, as John said, on our socials or our website. We're always ready and willing to give you recommendations and suggestions. And also, just a quick nod out, there's lots of people coming in who want to start collecting comics, and definitely that's like my favorite thing to do. So John, we get new customers all the time. We're selling new books, getting people into these like new series that are coming out. So if you don't know where to start, just come in and ask that question, and we will put you on the path of good comics. So
Awesome. Rob, what do we got lined up on Monday?
Well, let me just quickly say that I know that we're recording this. It is on September the 19th. But if you good people out there are potentially like me, you've already starting to get your parents or in-laws bugging you about what the kids want for Christmas. So you know what? It's never too early. And as Andre said, they've expanded out their kids section. So those are really good ideas to start getting stuff, knocking off your Christmas list early and get it now. So, so yes, you can find John and I at the Heroes World Sidekick Show tomorrow live 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Actually, John is being knocked out of the chair tomorrow night. He's out, and I'm reeling in Stuart, and we are revisiting the 1995 Michael Mann masterpiece Heat. If you are watching this, you're like, oh shit, I really want to watch that. Good news for you. It's on Amazon Prime if you have that, so you can definitely check it out. We are going to be going through Heat and talking about how great it is. Or does it hold up? That's a good question. Does it hold up? Do you think it still stands on even
It's being
ground?
called the greatest heist movie ever created.
Just like you
By me,
heisting, taking a heist out of my bit, John. Does it stand and hold up comparative to today's action movie? So please join us tomorrow live 8 p.m. YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, and get us in the comments and watch Heat. It's 2 hours and 46 minutes, but guess what? So is the new James Bond movie. So if you can do it for Heat, you can do it for Bond. We'll see you tomorrow.
Although John doesn't believe that Heat's very good at all. He says, meh, I can live without
the
it.
problem is John watched the wrong one. He watched The Heat with Melissa McCarthy. And I don't understand why people
I don't get the appeal.
Yeah, John is like, I watched this other movie that's better than Heat called Den of Thieves. That's the movie I ride or die with.
Yeah.
I'm like, forget this guy, Robert De Niro. I'd rather ride with Jerry B. So Gerard Butler.
Me and 50 Cent, we rolling down the street. Yeah. No.
Yeah. So thank you all for joining us. Again, if you can support the store with any purchase whatsoever, that'd be most welcome, or supporting it digitally by liking, subscribing, sharing, adding a comment on any of the social media threads. That's greatly appreciated. It just helps people find the store, find this content on the internet. There's surprisingly a lot of stuff like this on the internet. So anything you can do helps. Even we get one person to jump on board and discover the store in the GTA, that'd be awesome. So because clearly people are moving in all the time, so not everyone knows that this store exists. So as people move into the area more, hopefully they can discover the store.
Felix and now we have both Felix and Norton and Cocoa Bubble Tea, so you can get your dessert.
Do you hear that? That's John's waistline getting really big.
Yeah.
So that's
it's gonna be a rough year.
It's gonna be. There we go. So thanks so much for watching. The next review will be out momentarily. We're gonna do Why the Last Man episode 1. So stay tuned. Have a good one. See you later.
Peace.
Take care.